Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Tuesday night? Tuesday, August 19, 2025. How is everyone doing? I'm doing my podcast. Me and my wife went to the beach last weekend. It was fun. We sat down and uh, where the hell were we? Oh, Seabright. Seabright is actually nicer, less crowded, although it was crowded. All right, compared to Long Branch and down in Jersey Shore, right? And she went into water as she always does. I did not. I just stayed in the, uh, you know, I stayed on the land. I didn't want to go into water because I know freaking idea. I don't want to wet my even feet. But I took walks along the ocean, looking at different creatures such as human beings. All right. I'm so sorry. I know you can see me, my back in the mirror. However, I'm doing this in again in our bedroom. Because this is where I have set up my shop temporarily, right? Because my dad takes that small office slash Murphy bed space, right? Although he's not here, he's at my sister's. But I want to give him his own space. As if I'm talking about, I have a huge fucking house. That's the other thing. I wish I had at least like a two-bedroom. So at least he has some privacy, and at least we had like fucking two bathrooms, right? His own private bathroom and etc. Yeah, that's what happens when you never actually bought anything. And you think it's easy to actually buy anything in this fucking uh you know shanty town of New York, New Jersey, up in Northeast. It's not cheap. I mean, however, but regardless, I mean, like everything is so fucking expensive, regardless of how much you make, unless you're making six figures, blah blah blah, right? Every fucking year, then you can save and probably you can buy something, but it's just not cheap, you know. Everything is so fucking expensive, and then you have to save money to buy something for years and years, you know. Regardless, and I just been running my small business, which is not really profitable. It's like not hand to mouth, but it's just like you are on a fucking payroll, right? And and it's not like you are paying yourself bonuses, and your employees. It's not even like contracting. Consulting is just engineering. There's no money in there. That's the fucking problem. And then I had a lot of overheads through COVID. I had that fucking office in New York, without going back in the fucking past. But COVID, empty office. I had to pay for three fucking rents. You know, and but regardless, all right. And then there's no fucking money coming and all that, and without trying to moan and bitch and complain about the financial situation. But even now, I have to pay. We have to, me and my wife, we have to pay this fucking mortgage for this apartment. On top of that, the special assessment HOA. I actually sat down in that fucking Zoom meeting and I was angry at them, and blah blah. Oh man, somebody was telling me, oh man, you didn't know assessment was coming. No man, I didn't know. Nobody told me. All right, that you were going to impose hundreds and hundreds of dollars in capital improvement projects to do this fucking renovation of these fucking buildings. All right. And it's just fucking horrible. And the water comes in through these fucking French doors you can see in the mirror, right? Because they go all the way from door. I mean, they are windows, but they go all the way to the floor. And in the water when it storms, storm water when it rains hard, it just fucking gets into the apartment, and it's just it's a fucking shit show, dude. Um, so I mean I feel bad for for these people who are actually graduating, these young kids who are graduating with a lot of fucking loan, right? A lot of fucking debt and loan, and they have degrees which are not even technical or anything for them to get like proper jobs, and it just uh, it's not a fun thing, And then you have to pay for fucking rent and food, and and then you have to go out and hang out with your friends and all that, right? Not easy. All right. So that's why you need to move down south, and maybe you can say, but the salaries down south are not as obviously high, you know, uh, commensurate with the expenses, right? Um, I mean, us engineers and architects and technical people, we are not really good at with money, anyways, And yeah, I'm not saying that I blew all that fucking money on gambling or any of that shit, but uh, it's just that I, didn't have basically any savings, you know, and yeah, it's just that when you think about, you know, not even having a place to live, your own place, and that's actually a pretty hard thing, to be honest with you. I mean, as much as I talk about how lonely this fucking planet is, it's also not easy for people to, you know, save up and buy something. Especially, I mean, in your 30s, maybe, unless you are basically working at fucking Wall Street. But I mean, Silicon Valley people, yeah, I get it. Back in the days, that was the new Wall Street, right? But then I don't know. Now everything is like fucking online, I think. Um, and you have to be creative. I mean, the only thing I would suggest, I understand, I don't have a lot of fucking listeners which choir I'm preaching to, but if you're young and, in the land of opportunity such as America, you should try everything you want. Also, I mean, that's one thing I missed. Whatever, some direction. Obviously, you need to get from somebody has to basically poke your head, right, or your brain, and say, "Hey, man, what's your? Seems like you want to do this on the side, such as being a fucking, I don't know, a side chef or whatever, right? Maybe if you can play an instrument, whatever, do comedy. I mean, that's one thing I wanted to do. And, there's always financial gain in those as well. I mean, I'm not saying that, you should basically rape up your mind and your life and everything to make money, but you need that. Trust me. I mean, and I just realized that I didn't also have the motivation. I think that's the other fucking problem right now. I'm married, so now I have more responsibilities and this and that, right? All right, everyone. I didn't mean to fucking babble about financial issues, and but that's all part of fucking life, and what uh what are you going to do? I mean, as much as the the social situation. What the fuck am I saying? I'm talking about, the lifestyle, and then you are basically living in a fucking apartment. You've been paying rent all these fucking years, right? Which is what I was doing. And then it also becomes some sort of a depressing fucking, norm of life, think about where you are, and even now, my financial issues. I think that that's partly true for many people. I just this never-ending fucking saga of problems, you know. And my wife stays positive. She tells me to stay positive. Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive. And then the other fucking problem, right? Who said that some TV or radio commentator who moved down to fucking Florida said, I don't want to deal with the taxes, that the whole thing in New York, some state like New York, and the labor department. Oh my fucking god, you know. And then you are an LLC or a business owner. You get all these kind of fucking documents from the state, and they're like, what the fuck is this? I didn't basically embezzle anything. I'm not a fucking Ponzi scheme. And and then that's just discouraging for us small business owners we are who are struggling, always. And creative part, see, the fucking creative part that also makes me kind of depressed. I mean, I do this fucking podcast just to went out sort of, to myself. I just basically talk to this fucking screen or camera, right? But sorry, I'm just looking at this lighthouse on my screen because I have two screens here. But uh, what's the point I was trying to make? Then I lost the chain of fucking thought. Oh yeah, so the motivation, and then you have to actually, I think, sort of navigate your life, you know. And what was the depressing part I was talking about? Then again, I really lost the chain of my fucking thought. The depressing part was that, sorry, I fucking am losing my fucking mind, really. Well, I think, uh, well, besides the fact that why don't I have a fucking two-bedroom at least, right? I mean, I should be more grateful. At least I have a roof overhead. I can pay for the groceries, and I can help my family as much as I can, and blah. I'm not trying to act like a fucking, you know, oh, you are the caretaker of whatever, right? But I'm not, and for most part, I have sort of lived a selfish life, just kind of narcissistic, I think. But the part that is actually, um, between life, I mean, between, I'm sorry, in life, between work and, the financial aspect of your of our lives, the family law life, and all that, it's like, um what the fuck, I'm sorry, I think I'm losing my fucking mind, but I okay, so this is what it is. All right, so the I think the depressing part for me was that, I was just being like a cog in a fucking wheel. And then I think some part of me in the back of my mind I was thinking about was, man, I'm doing this. whatever I'm doing, working, um, but somehow I have this other creative aspect of me, and I want to get it out and do something, uh, but that somehow didn't come out, that creative fucking part, or maybe I'm not creative enough. But at the same time, I feel like there is a creative part in every one of us, in every way. um, but being creative and smart, goal oriented, I think, am I turning my fucking podcast into some sort of a, you know looking back in time of my life, and then what could have, should have, would have, you know those wishes. um but then I think that the pill that we all need is, hey man, hey lady, thousand other genders, however, whatever, right? You are where you are now. Forget the past, leave the fucking baggage, and move on. All right. And so, what is it that we all fucking trying to achieve at this point, instead of living in the fucking past, which I do all the time, which is not good, right? And I mean, I'm too old. I'm too old to basically pursue anything else. Yeah, sometimes I talk about, oh, maybe it's Sundays, I'll sign up for fucking comedy, and maybe, I'll do something, but that's more like a fucking, you know, unfulfilled hobby, sort of, right? And I'm not a comedian. For that, you have to also work hard. Just like any profession, any career that you actually pursue, you have to have some fucking experience, all right? You can't just be someone who can just go up to the mic and talk through it to an audience of even like six people, all right? What are you going to say? So that's, that I don't know. It just, I feel like I'm just too fucking old, and I'm just going to live my life. And not to say that I'm going to just drag my life, and, however it is, but a lot of fucking, you know, things, and, venues. And I'm not, okay, what the fuck am I talking about? I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. But uh, what people, I think, as far as the best aspect of life is to wait, man, wait for their opportunity to knock on your door. No, that doesn't happen for most part, and you're not going to win a fucking lottery, all right? So then so then what, sir? I mean, what am I talking about? I guess I'm just talking about the life that is to be, or should be, lived in the most, what do you call, um, practical, well, I'm not practical, the most beneficial. What the fuck am I trying to say? I'm sorry, I'm losing the chain of my thought. But all right, so it's already 19 minutes, I'm still babbling, struggling, and I want to be a comedian. Jesus fucking Christ, naive. All right, so uh, I don't know. Uh, Although I did try a few things in life, just like screwing around with music and with my cooking videos and all that. But really, my skills are not a musician to be a musician or a comedian or a chef. And so that's the bottom line, and we all have to start at an early age, and the older you get, a lot of things just don't happen. They just become secondary. And then just life becomes the daily routine, the hourly routine, the minutely routine, and the fucking routine, right? All right, everyone. So that's all. I'm sorry. This probably was like one of the most fucking boring uh, podcasts without any real uh, content. Well, listen, I'm just babbling. Okay, I just talk shit. I'm not here. I don't mean to teach anyone about anything in life. I think life teaches us, and some of the things that life teaches us just happen. You know, just don't fucking do anything stupid. That's all I say. All right, everyone. I hope you all are having a great beginning or middle of the week. Is Tuesday, and then I'm just going to I was just working. Just work is always and just there, and I was kind of depressed yesterday as well. My wife was like, "What's happening, man?" She's always obviously she's my significant other, and I just feel like in the grand scheme of things, this is all part of life. Whatever we have to go through, it's all part of fucking life. Am I stating the obvious? Maybe I am. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna pass the fuck out. It's already 10:39. Again, I will see you all. Have a great week.